By 1900, the popular idea of what a cowboy was had been shaped by decades of dime novels. The chief characters of these stories were a child's idea of a hero. Tough guys who outrode, outfought, and outwitted every enemy. But a new style of cowboy appeared in 1902 in a new kind of Western. He came from a most unlikely author, Owen Wister. He'd grown up in a privileged East Coast family and attended Yale, where he'd made friends with a young Theodore Roosevelt. In 1883, when Roosevelt was recovering from the deaths of his mother and his wife, he moved to Dakota and became a rancher. 2 years later, Wister did the same thing. He'd become ill and unable to work, so he headed west to recuperate. Arriving in Wyoming, Wister was dazzled by the beauty of the land and happy to be accepted by the ranch hands, who took this tender-footed dude on hunting trips. It was the first of many expeditions that Wister made to Wyoming in the following years. He filled several notebooks with accounts of his experiences, wanting to capture the West before it was gone, to write down the people and life of the Wyoming frontier that would otherwise be forgotten. In 1901 and 1902, the Saturday Evening Post published several stories by Wister based on events and people he'd known in the West. Wister worked these stories into a novel that became America's best-selling book for 2 years. The novel centered on a tall, lanky cowboy, referred to simply as the Virginian. He was a skilled horseman, a natural leader of men, and a chivalrous suitor. Unlike the dime novel cowboys, he didn't play the hero or show off his shooting and riding skills. Instead, the Virginian was reserved. He mostly kept his thoughts to himself. He was tough, he endured injuries in silence, he did what had to be done, and couldn't be dissuaded from exacting justice. This character was so appealing that in 1914, Hollywood made a movie based on the book. More film versions of the Virginian would follow, not to mention a weekly 90-minute TV Western that ran for 9 years. Owen Wister may be little known today, but his novel exerted a powerful cultural influence. Americans liked this strong, silent character, and many tried to imitate him. He was used by screenwriters and actors who portrayed the quiet, determined cowboy who won't be pushed around. While Wister wrote other Western tales for the Post, he never repeated the success he had with the Virginian. But after all, he'd created one memorable character. In one unforgettable line of dialogue, said by the Virginian in response to an insult from a bad man. Saturday Evening Post members can explore our 200-year-old archive for only $15 a year. Subscribe today.